talk with each other for a few minutes to know what makes it hard for you to have inner peace. When I feel helpless, I lose my inner peace. I have to do something to not be helpless. It's not when my mother calls, it's what happens inside of you when your mother calls that interferes with peace, because it is never what somebody else does. The inner peace is only mine. I imagine that is clear for everyone.
Clarity of my needs.
Not being connected to your own needs.
Yeah, bigger.
So there's tension about connecting with the needs. And then what do you do without connection and create trouble?
Trying to make connection.
Trying to make connection without knowing the connection inside you, then you don't have peace. So being in interaction without self-connection. Is this common for people?
Yeah.
Not having clarity of direction.
Yeah. Howsoever small the interaction is. Yeah, feeling lost like in a loop.
Yeah, being lost without clarity of direction. Familiar to people? One clue that I have learned over the years is that many times the truth would be freeing, but we try to do something other than what the truth is. The joke is that somebody is looking for something. So somebody else is coming and saying, "What are you looking for?" "I'm looking for my keys." "Oh, let me help you. Let's look together." "Where did you lose them?" "In that dark street over there." "So why are you looking here?" "Because there's light here."
It's very much an Indian story.
It's also Indian? We are uncomfortable with what is really true, so we try to do something else that isn't true. Sometimes just being able to say to another person, "I am lost. I don't know where to go. I want a moment to breathe," can be enough to create the space to connect. But we don't remember to do that. Maybe you do and it doesn't help. It's not about you, just as an example. One of the ways to connect the moment is to be really, really honest inside about what is true, instead of trying to be someplace else. Especially if we have practiced NVC for some time, then I should be able to know what to do.
There's another should there which goes to number one, which is I should know what's happening inside.
The same one. As soon as you have, I should know something, be able to do something, that is the kiss of death for inner peace. So if I recognize that I have a should thought, then that's what I want to look at with tenderness.
Mine is about thinking about the state of the world, like problems of hunger and war.
And what happens? You lose inner peace.
I lose inner peace because it looks too big what's outside.
Yeah.
And they look like problems. They look like difficulties.
Overwhelm. Overwhelm can be with the problems of the world, or it could be with the problems of my life.
I lose my inner peace when I'm not able to let go of past hurt.
This is one of those things that I think has a big should hidden in it. Like, you should let go of past hurt, right?
I wish I could. If I could, it would be freedom.
Does it mean you're able to love the person that hurt you? Or does it mean that you're able to accept the consequences? Accept the consequences.
I'm able to accept the person.
In my experience, if I go back to basic principles of NVC, one of the very, very basic principles is that everything that happens is an expression of needs. Yes, if I hit someone, that also is an expression of a need. The strategy of hitting is not one that I like, but the needs that lead someone to hit, I can understand because they're human needs like mine. So somebody could hit because they want to make contact with someone, they want them to understand something. Or somebody could hit because they are in so much pain that they want relief. Or there could be other things, but there is always a human need underneath it. In the same way, if there is a hurt in me that I'm not letting go of, there is something in me that has a need that is so strong that it wants to be heard with a D by me, about the past hurt with a T. Yes, there is pain in me from something that happened in the past. If I'm not able to let go of it, it means that some part of me wants me to listen to it. That is the need. If I keep telling this part, shut up, go away, I want freedom, you interfere, I am at war with myself.
Except that I'm not very conscious of saying, I will shut up or something. I'm just conscious of, okay, it's painful.
The words, I am not able to let go of past hurt, I'm hearing in that you should. Telling that part of you, you should not interfere with my life. I want freedom, you're interfering. That's the war. So before we even go into anywhere where can we accept the other person or not, can I accept that part of me is still hurting and wants tenderness? Instead of trying to make it go away, I have a different question. How can I bring tenderness to that part of me that is hurting? As soon as I ask that question, there is more peace. Is that touching you, Sudha? It's like there are little people inside of me that I can listen to. And there is a little person that says, I am hurting. Now you would never say to a person outside of you that says, I am hurting, you're not going to say, shut up, go away, you interfere. So why do we say it to a part of us inside?
Maybe because we're tired of listening to the same old story.
We're not actually listening to it. We're tired of fighting with it. But if we start listening, the exhaustion goes away. The idea of bringing tenderness to that part is already doing something to your heart, right? I can, even from this distance, I can see it. Something is softer. It changes from tension to a soft sadness, right? Yes, Ajat.
I should communicate with my that part.
Did you hear that word again? I should. And there it goes again. The habit, this is beautiful because this was 3 layers. First, there is the pain. Then the pain should go away. Then there is, I should find tenderness for the pain. And then, oh, I should stop saying should. Thank you. In the midst of so much should, it's so much noise. And the voice of the needs is so small because we haven't cultivated it. So we need to listen so carefully. And every should creates noise that interferes. We start with bringing gentleness to the should. If you should the should, you multiply the should. The way that I am seeing it is Ajat is so much wanting a different way to relate to himself. That desire shows up in the form of more should.
Cautious of speaking now.
Because I should not do something wrong.
Because you want to trust yourself to go where you want to go in your words. Is that why you're cautious? Is it that you want to be able to trust your words to take you where you want to go? That's a good place to touch. You see, when you ask the question with that level of curiosity, something changes. Even if there's no answer.
I'm connected with a need. I choose a strategy that I think will help fulfill that need.
And then?
The person that strategy depends on says no. And then I'm overwhelmed by panic because I realize it was the only strategy I knew.
We call that attachment to strategy. One of the mothers of all inner war. You can see that if there's only one way to meet a need, there's no freedom. As Jason said, if that way depends on other people, we are in trouble. We do need other people to fulfill our needs. We are interdependent. We are part of a web of life where everything helps everything. But depending on it in a way that leaves no room for some other strategy is trouble. So then many of us do the hard work of separating the strategy from the need and then being attached to the need. That's a deeper practice, and that's one that I definitely want us to work with during this session, is increasing our capacity to live inside with the discomfort of an unmet need. How can I have peace when my needs are not met? It is really easy to be in peace, to be nonviolent, when everybody does exactly what I want all the time. Very easy to be peaceful. That is not the test of nonviolence. The test of nonviolence is when things are not going my way. When what is happening is really not working for me. That is when I have the work of creating inner peace. Otherwise, what's the challenge?
I lose my inner peace when I get angry. If I'm not able to understand someone and I don't know what to do, and that starts accumulating, and then I get more angry, so I want to...
Slow down. I don't understand what is happening. Why does my organism choose anger rather than fear or sadness or things that are not charged with judgment? Again, if we think that everything is an expression of need, then choosing anger is an expression of a need. Why do we choose anger instead of some other response? Does anybody have any idea? What need is anger designed to meet?
It's the need of controlling others.
I would say it slightly differently. Controlling others is a strategy, a need to have a sense of power. Anger gives me the illusion of power. It's an illusion because anger actually diminishes my power, but it gives me a feeling of having more power. What can the anger give me? How does the anger serve me? It's a different way of looking at it. There's so much that everybody says that anger is bad. And for me, anger is only information. It's information that is very useful to understand more fully.
Anger is also like more an expression than being sad. If I don't understand the situation, I become angry. The other side sees when I'm sad and into myself.
So there is another illusion, which is that anger is going to help me be seen by another person.
That might be, it needs the power.
And again, it's an illusion, because when was the last time that somebody expressed themselves in anger to you, was very angry, and in response, you felt inside something like, "Oh, darling, you are really suffering, how can I help?" But it helps us understand, if we look at anger as information about ourselves, not about the other person, information about myself, then I can begin the process of connection. So I don't want to act out the anger because it doesn't help. I also don't want to suppress the anger because then I am in war inside. I want to curiously listen to the anger. Because if there is anger, there is always a strong need that I can be curious to understand. Anger is always an illusion that some need will be met. And fundamentally, I think with Viva that it's when there is anything going on, and I also feel powerless, anger looks really attractive. Because I have all these needs, but I can't get them met. So I'm going to get angry so I can get them met.
The expression of anger is the illusion. The anger is a feeling. Anger is...
The choice of anger gives us an illusion. Anger itself is not the illusion. Anger itself is only information. Every feeling is information. The difficulty is that we take action based on the feelings. One of the transformations of NVC is to take action based on the needs instead of taking action based on the feelings. If we can use the feelings as information, they help us go to the level of the needs. And then we can take action from a place that has so much more room and space inside. Because anger is very contracted. There's a lot of tension. There's not a whole lot of room for movement inside anger. But if I connect to the underlying need, there is a sea of space. But it takes really connecting. It's not just saying, oh, I have a need for this, I have a need for this, I have a need for this, I have a need for this. Now I know all my needs. Why is nothing changing? It's really making the choice to bring my full attention to the needs that I discover. To, like Ajat did here, not so much with needs, but you saw the process of taking the space, taking a few extra breaths to just really make contact inside with the need. Something changes when we do that. This is perfect because this is the process. Ajat is now on his way because he can now hear himself. He can hear the should, then he can start changing it. Much of what happens, we don't even hear ourselves. We just charge forward and do things without awareness. So you now have the awareness. Now you can start interacting with it. And every time you find the should, you take a breath and you say, should, what do I really want? A world of difference. Anything else to add to the list? Yes.
My inner peace when I blame myself.
Aha, self-judgment. What kind of judgments do people here make of themselves?
I don't look beautiful, I am black, I am dark. Those are very common judgments that I have come across so many times.
So self-judgment based on skin color. Maybe the activity of judging can be familiar, but the judgments are not the same. The judgments in the United States can be, I am not independent enough. There's always not enough or too much, but of different things. And those judgments are very helpful information about what are the values of the culture that I'm part of. Because I will take those values and use them as fuel for my judgments.
That I should be doing this, but I want to do this. So want to do this is always a question mark. Is it right or wrong? Is it selfish or is it self-centeredness? Or is it being a doormat? Whatever, everything around.
I shouldn't want what I want.
Doubting the want.
Many years ago, I saw something that really stayed with me. There was a 2-year-old girl that was in a room, the door was closed, and on the other side of the door there was a yard, and on the other side of the yard there was another building, and that's where her mother was. She wanted to get to her mother, and there were several adults around her that wouldn't let her open the door. So this was very painful for me to watch. This went on for about 20 minutes. The girl was crying and crying and crying for 20 minutes, and she kept trying to open the door. I cannot think of a single adult that I know that would keep trying for 20 minutes, hold on to what they want for 20 minutes when everybody around them says no. This is the true power of wanting that we all have given up on to some degree. That's why I'm telling you this story, not because of what was done to her, but because of the image of the tenacity of this is what I want and I'm going to do it because it's life in me. Wanting is life. Everything else is what we learned. So if I want to be alive, which I imagine you all want to be alive, there's nothing to do but to pay attention to what is it that I want. It doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to do it. I may choose, because of other reasons, to do something else. But the key is to let the wanting be. Even if I'm not going to act on it, I want to let it be because it's the deepest truth. It's sacred. This is the key to that peace, is the sacredness of what I want. Does this speak to you?
I lose my peace when I'm under tension.
And what could be the source of the tension?
Overburden of the work.
Overburden from work.
Stress. Stress is more stimulation than my nervous system can handle. It's very personal. I can reduce stress by removing the stimulation, or I can reduce stress by increasing my system's capacity to handle stimulation. That's part of what NVC does, is it helps me handle more stimulation. It doesn't mean that I will do more. I can just process it and make choices. Being able to choose instead of acting on impulse or fear or should or habit, that is what helps me have that peace. It really takes a great deal of commitment to freedom to be willing to suffer the consequences of the choices that we make.
It takes a great deal of
commitment to freedom.
to face.
To be willing to face the consequences of our choices. And again, this comes back to making choices from needs and not from feelings.